Today, the Mordvins, as part of a Finno-Ugric people, are scattered over half of Europe.
Here he is, mustache and all, the supreme god, Nishkipas.
Historically pagans, the Mordvins now mix old traditions with their Christian commandments.
Let's pray to God. Christ is risen.
Indeed risen.
Mordvins work hard.
I'm no good for pictures.
And they know how to enjoy themselves.
What a great steam!
The people here love sport.
Tread lightly, touch the ground with your heels.
And adore music. Mordovia is a small republic 600 kilometers southeast of Moscow. The Mordvins account for about 1/3 of the people living in the republic, just over 300,000. But local scientists maintain that some 20 million people living in Russia have Mordovian roots. Here, if you have so much as a drop of Mordovian blood, you're a Mordvin. The former world boxing champion Oleg Maskaev was born in Kazakhstan. He now lives in the United States, but calls himself a Mordvin. After his victory in the title fight, Maskaev came to Mordovia, where he was awarded yet more titles, honorary citizenship and the Medal of Glory.
When I was a youngster, Father used to tell me that Mordvins were strong people, strong men.
Maskaev brought big-time boxing to Mordovia for a fight in March 2009. His victory in a key match up against the American Rich Borov made the whole republic proud. Immediately after the fight, Nikolai Merkushkin, the head of Mordovia, presented Maskaev with a ceremonial belt and a traditional shirt to mark his victory.
I want to give you this shirt as a gift for your love to your beloved home country. It's a typical Mordovian shirt. May it always remind you of that memorable fight.
In ancient times, the Mordvins were called Mordvins, which means man or warrior. Tenacity and even pig-headed stubbornness are important traits of a competitive boxer, and Mordvins count these as key elements of their national character. Their closest ethnic relatives live in Hungary, Finland and Estonia. The word Mordvin actually covers several ethnic groups, the largest of which are the Moksha and the Ertsir.
Erzi Mordvins are tall, broad-shouldered and fair-haired people with flat faces like people of the Finno-Ugric family. The Moksha Mordvins are stockier with dark, thick curly hair, a carryover from Turkic tribes.
Most of the people living in the Republic call themselves Mordvins, even though the Moksha and the Ertsir still speak different languages. Only a sharp eye can tell a Moksha from an Ertsir. Traditional costumes are the most obvious point of contrast. The girl on the left is wearing a Moksha dress. The other girl is wearing an Ertsir dress. What catches the eye is that the seam on the Ertsir shirt divides it into two parts, whereas the seams on the Moksha shirt are at the edges. The Moksha wears a scarf on her head. The Ertsir costume also includes an ornamented belt, sometimes weighing as much as 20 kilograms. The Moksha wears several skirts, one on top of the other.
In accordance with tradition, Moksha girls used to put on as many shirts for the wedding ceremony as they had in their dowries. The more layers they put on, the wealthier they were in the eyes of others. In some cases, there were as many as 7 shirts.
The Mordovian national dress is known for its bright colors and rich embroidery. Girls are taught embroidery from early childhood. If a girl's dress was adorned with elaborate embroidery, it was assumed she could run the home quite well, giving her a better chance of a successful marriage. The most exquisite patterns on the shirts were made by sight, without sketching them first on paper. Embroidery served more than decorative purposes. It also helped to protect the women wearing it.
Each seam has a meaning. There were times when Mordvins were chased by a host of spirits. They needed protection for their health, for future generations and expectant mothers. They needed something to guard against fires, and they needed to protect their crops against hail. They were pagans, you know.
Tatiana Gvozdeva has been studying the history of Mordovian embroidery for several decades. Today she's one of the foremost craftswomen in this traditional trade. In each piece of her work, she tries to weave a hidden meaning into the embroidery.
This symbolizes young girls. Why two birds, you might ask? Because they will have to fly away from their birthplace to start a family.
Only homespun cloth is used to make a genuine Mordovian dress. Raisa Kudashkina, in the village of Baeva, is one of the few craftswomen who know how to handle the old weaver's looms.
Some of the looms were burnt or thrown out. But my sister-in-law and I tucked one away in a safe place and later took it out when we needed it. So now we can work with it.
In accordance with Mordovian traditions, cloth weaving was a women's task to be performed only in wintertime. This art has been handed down from generation to generation. Both Raisa's mother and mother-in-law were weavers. Now Raisa is teaching her granddaughter Yulia to handle the old loom. Using it without help is simply impossible. It's laborious and painstaking work, taking a whole day to weave one carpet strip. According to Mordovian standards, the cloth used to make a costume, a carpet runner or a traditional towel must be exactly 47 centimeters wide. Made to the proper width, the cloth is ready to be dyed. The explanation for the traditional white and scarlet colors of the Mordovian costume is quite simple.
In the old days, there was a herb called moraine in Mordovian forests, which was used to dye white cloth red. Women wore dresses made of red cloth. There were no other colors available.
Today, Mordovian designers have a wider range of colors at their disposal. Each year, students at the art school in Saransk prepare a collection of ethnic clothing. They choose a theme, make the costumes, design specially styled ornaments, and put on fashion shows. The result is a modern vision of Mordovian traditional dress. Each of the collections is based on a pagan legend.
This collection is called the Sacred Bird. Legend has it that the sacred bird was an enchanted maiden, so we based our outfits on this myth. This bird here is a symbol from an ornament, and this little star is a modern-day Mordovian symbol. This collection, called Sulgam, has red and black colors in it, a typical color scheme for Mordovian clothing. Sulgam means buckle in Mordovian. We have designed a new kind of buckle based on a traditional design. This costume has been named Masterava after the earth goddess. Each costume is an incarnation of a god. Here he is, the supreme Mordovian god Nishkipas, the man with the mustache. We made his mustache out of hemp fiber.
Let's pray to God. Christ is risen.
Indeed risen.
Although most Mordvins adopted Christianity back in the 19th century, those who live in the Republic today remember the numerous gods of nature and forest spirits worshipped by their ancestors.
Oh
A huge number of Mordovian dances have survived to this day. They include circular fortune-telling dances, magic dances, and dancing games. Particularly popular here are festivities featuring people dressed up as bears. The Mordvins have always considered bears to be a symbol of wisdom, good nature, and family well-being. So whenever a man disguised as a bear appeared at a party, this was considered to be a good omen.
People who had not been invited to take part in festivities could join them by dressing up as a bear. This special guest would be toasted with food and drink because he'd been the life of the party.
Each village has a women's folklore choir. Their singing is not confined solely to festive occasions. Many of the songs come from times of hard work.
When a woman comes home, she sings a song. When she's rocking her baby to sleep, she sings a song. Even when she is weaving, she sings a song. She gets backaches while weaving, and that's what she sings about, her aching back and hands.